Christina Mendez and Samantha Cuellar grew up here in San Antonio's west side, but they say it's a problem for pedestrians.
Unfortunately, over here on this side of town, it's normal.
San Antonio police say 66-year-old Juan Manuel was crossing West Commerce near South San Joaquin Avenue when he was hit by a small SUV Wednesday. Police say Manuel wasn't using a crosswalk. The incident happened steps away from Mendez and Cuellar's home. They say drivers are part of the issue.
Because they don't slow down for the kids, not even for an elderly person trying to cross the street.
That same night, SCPD responded to a second crash where a pedestrian was also hit and killed just minutes away. And here off Culebra Road and North Zarzamora, San Antonio police say a man was killed when he was crossing the street here. Residents we spoke to say memorials like this are starting to become too common.
It's not a rare occurrence.
Police say the driver did not see the man who was crossing the road. The driver stopped to help. Police say he also wasn't using the crosswalk. Daniel Gonzalez says many of the roads in the area are just too dangerous. And crosswalks don't make him feel any safer.
They don't slow down 1 second. You're putting your life on the line right there.
Linda Sorolla believes it's a common issue in her community with no solution.
I sure would like to see something done, though. I mean, this area has been neglected for as long as I can remember.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
But it's definitely out of the ordinary. Definitely out of the ordinary.
Tabitha Frederick didn't expect she would ever see this type of scene unfold in her neighborhood. San Antonio police arrived to a home near I-35 and Spofford Avenue just before 7 Saturday night. Police say two men, both armed with weapons, got into a heated argument. That argument ended with both shooting at one another. Frederick says she was outside when she heard the gunshots.
I honestly thought it was fireworks. It's a bit unsettling.
Both men were rushed to nearby hospitals. One suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Police say his injuries are life-threatening. Police believe both men knew each other and say the violent exchange likely stemmed from past altercations. Sergio Cardenas has lived in the area for 50 years. He says crimes like this don't happen too often, and it's alarming.
This is not a common thing no more. I was very surprised.
Cardenas says it's a poor portrayal of his community.
It looks bad, when you see crime like this or shootouts or something.
Now, we are told that the other man that was involved in that shooting was taken here to University Hospital with a gunshot wound to his leg. Now, Tim Courtney, police say that the investigation is still in its early stages. No names have been released at this time. It's unclear what charges either of these men will be facing. Reporting here outside University Hospital, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
You should do whatever you can to protect yourself.
Quinn Britt says he was at death's door, and he's thankful to be alive. Quinn tested positive for COVID-19 in July. He's unsure of how he got it, but soon after, he began to have trouble breathing. He was rushed to North Central Baptist Hospital, where he was later admitted.
I took a picture and posted on Facebook of my feet and said, well, I finally know somebody with COVID. It's me.
It was the last thing he remembers before he was intubated. His wife Sheila says Quinn had no prior underlying conditions, but his health quickly deteriorated, and doctors began to have a grim outlook. Quinn was placed in a coma for several weeks, and his family only able to see him through FaceTime.
He would die, and we wouldn't be there with him, and that we couldn't be there to comfort him.
But in a surprising turn, his health began to improve. Quinn woke up in the intensive care unit in late August, and a short time later, he was reunited with the love of his life.
That was a good reconciliation after 27 days of not being with him.
He's home. I'm about to walk in my house.
And today, just one day before Thanksgiving, Quinn was welcomed home. His family says they've been in self-isolation and leaning on their faith to get them to this moment. Quinn says for now, he has trouble walking and has lost movement in his left hand. He hopes others take COVID-19 seriously as cases in Bexar County continue to rise.
You don't hear about those of us who are lucky to survive, but survive with lots of complications.
But for now, he's happy to be home and says he has more to be grateful for this holiday.
It's going to be the best Thanksgiving ever. There's no doubt.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
Well, that's good. That's good.
And welcome to Battleground, Texas.
It's awesome. Big shout out to
With less than 48 hours to go before Election Day, both the Democratic and Republican parties are hoping Texas voters will show support in their favor. The DNC chair has been traveling throughout South Texas for the Get Out the Vote drive-in event. He says this election year is different than any other and every vote is important.
We're a nation in crisis right now. We have a pandemic. We have the economic crisis. We have a civil rights crisis.
He hopes to see voters turn the historically red state blue and believes Texas can be a game changer on Election Day.
The White House goes through Texas. The road to a Senate majority goes through Texas.
We gotta go. We asked Republican Senator John Cornyn for his response on the DNC chair's comments. He didn't answer, but the senator did express his support for President Donald Trump.
I would say what he's actually done has been enormously positive for the country.
The senator, who is facing Democratic nominee MJ Hagar, stopped by the San Antonio Police Association Sunday afternoon, along with other elected leaders. They focused on backing the men and women in blue and supporting police unions.
To me, there's no alternative to supporting our police.
The senator wants voters to take public safety into consideration before they head out on Election Day.
The way that we get to express our support for the people who stand up and defend our police is through our vote at the ballot box.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. This home near West Harlan Avenue and Pleasanton Road has now become the scene of a homicide investigation. On Thursday, work crews discovered a body wrapped in tarp near South W.W. White Road and Higdon Road in southeast Bexar County. Sheriff Javier Salazar says the body is now believed to belong to a woman in her 30s or 40s. Salazar says it was evidence found there which led deputies to make the connection here, where more discoveries were made.
What we do know is that there is some evidence here that may be linked back to what we now believe to be the homicide of that young lady.
10 people were found in the home during the search Friday night, all taken in for questioning. During that search, SWAT teams found a garage that had been converted into several rooms. But Salazar says there was more than meets the eye.
By moving a piece of furniture, they were able to access a room that was hidden from outside. It certainly is a cause for concern that somebody went to great pains to construct this extra room that was hidden from public view.
Salazar says it's not clear if the room has any connection to the homicide, but he believes it's still suspicious. No arrests have been made, but Salazar says that could soon be a possibility.
We cut everybody loose for now, but I would say that we're hopeful that there'll be some arrests made before too long.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Nestle Toll House Cafe is one of its kind here in San Antonio. It sits near the Culebra Commons near West Loop 1604 and specializes in sweets and coffee. The Nestle Cafe has only been open for 2 years, but owner Sherry Ramirez fears 2020 could be the year her cookie could crumble.
I was so depressed that I was going to have to shut the doors, and I didn't want to do that.
Ramirez is also a retired military veteran who served 36 years as a registered nurse and acute care nurse practitioner in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. She says the COVID-19 pandemic has slowed business, and doors were days away from closing for good. But she was more worried for her employees.
I love them. They work so hard, and I'm trying to keep them, employed. I'm coming to you from the bottom of my heart today to ask for some help.
She posted this video on Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms, hoping it could be a game changer. And it was. Following her plea on social media, Ramirez says she was surprised to find a line of people here outside her store. Many that we talked to say it's worth the wait.
Her message was very heartfelt.
Or whoever it is, you gotta support one another.
Many of these people in line saw Ramirez's video and wanted to help. Others say they saw themselves in her.
But I know what it's like to go without right now with COVID-19. Why not just put back what we can and help her?
Erlene Stevens believes it's never been more important to give back.
It actually brings me to tears. For me, just to be able to give back is just heartwarming for me. I have to do that.
Ramirez says her business will live to see another day because of that generosity, which she believes makes the Alamo City a special place to live.
When I get home tonight, I'm going to crash on my knees and thank God and thank you all. I love San Antonio.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
He is my child. He fell off of my limb, and I believe he's alive.
Patricia Olivier believes her son, 38-year-old Curtis Perry, will come home. She says Curtis traveled from Philadelphia to Houston to visit her back in July. He then traveled to San Antonio in a rental car to visit his cousins, but Olivier hasn't heard from him since.
It's not like him not to contact us.
Curtis's younger brother Jean says he last spoke to him on July 27th. He was able to trace Curtis's phone back here to Foster Road near Hildebrandt, the same spot Bexar County deputies located Curtis's rental car with bullet holes. But Curtis was nowhere to be found. The family filed a missing persons report for the father of one son, but nearly 3 months later, they're still without answers.
What is he doing in the middle of nowhere?
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says Curtis could have been the victim of foul play and a body maybe somewhere in southeast Bexar County. He says a person or persons responsible may be linked to other violent crimes in the area.
You couldn't even, expect this type of thing to happen.
Family members say he always treated strangers with kindness, and it may have led him down a dangerous path.
He was just being too friendly with the wrong people.
Olivia says she's hopeful her son is alive. She has this message for anyone who may know where he is.
Just give him back to us. Give him back to us. Please, just bring my son home.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
It's not normal. This is not a normal feeling. How can we wake up from this nightmare?
A nightmare. That's how Michelle Gutierrez describes the loss of her son, 20-year-old Rene Rodriguez Jr. He was killed in their home off Lasses Boulevard early Wednesday morning. San Antonio police say Rene was in his bed when he was shot 4 times. Police say a 13-year-old boy allegedly pulled the trigger. The family believe he was let in the house by Rene's 13-year-old sister.
Rene loved my sister. That was the baby of the house.
Raquel Rodriguez says the 2 teens had been in a relationship for almost a year, but the family did not approve. SAPD says the pair was last seen leaving the home after the shooting. On Thursday, they were both arrested and charged with Rene's murder. Raquel says the family is broken.
I love you. I just cannot forgive you on this. I cannot.
Rene was described as a doting son and a caring brother to his siblings. His younger brother Ruben says they shared a special bond.
All I cared about is my brother.
But he says the tragedy took away everything.
I feel like I'm alone in the house.
Michelle is still not ready to let her son go, but believes in a chance at forgiveness and hope their family can one day come back together.
I will stand by my daughter to protect her, to teach her that this isn't the end.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
Oh, I missed his face already. I'm sorry.
Vicki Lane's world was changed forever this week. On Monday, San Antonio police found her son, 33-year-old Michael Lane, dead off North Main Avenue, just north of I-35. They say he had been shot in the head. The one question now etched in her mind is why.
What person would do this to him, and what did he do to that person that made him want to kill him?
Police discovered several shell casings outside this Lulu's bakery and cafe where Michael's body was also discovered. But since then, no arrests have been made. But his mother is hoping for answers.
I want justice for Michael. He didn't deserve this.
Police tell us aside from shell casings, there was no other evidence in sight.
Stay strong to be the backbone, the bread.
Vicki says Michael had fallen on hard times, but was trying to get back on his feet.
He wanted to be baptized and be a member of the church.
Despite challenges, she says Michael was always a compassionate person.
If he saw you down, he would try to lift you up.
Vicki hopes her family will find peace and that the person responsible for her son's death will come forward.
Turn yourself in, do the right thing.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.